Hello, everyone. It's Agnes, and I've got you know who here. Hello, Marvin.
YouTube world, what is good? Back.
good, good to see you again.
Always, you as well.
Oh, you and I have been having quite a few audio chats on WhatsApp about all sorts of different things lately, and this is a topic that's come up. And we said this would make a good topic for a discussion.
Classic.
So, the topic is firstly, the what a man really finds attractive, and secondly, women that have a, I would say, over obsession with beauty, weight, makeup, and the external packaging. So we're going to talk about those two things today. So Marvin, let's start with the very important question. What does a man find attractive? Because we talked about this in relation to social media and what women do to themselves physically. And you said some really interesting things. And I thought, wow, that needs to be heard. So go ahead.
Yes. First, let me say, man, like it's such a treat. Like I really wish the viewers could hear us behind the scenes. Like that's why I'm like cheesing so hard, because I'm just like, man, like the conversations we have, it's just, they're so amazing and they're just so real, raw and uncut. And honestly, I'm very glad to have this conversation with you, because as a woman, it's like I feel like it's a requirement, it's necessary, because if two men were to have this conversation, oh my God, like I love the term you always use, hands on hips.
Yeah.
I just feel like if two men had this conversation and they put it out and it was a podcast, like I just feel like so many women would just have their hands on hips and like not listen to the message, not try to comprehend the message, but immediately, oh, you're disempowering women, or you're saying this and this. And it's like, no, it has nothing to do with that. Like I'm all for, women's rights and women being leaders and CEOs and owning businesses. Like I'm all for that. But what you and I are getting ready to discuss, it's like, there's another side of it, and are you aware of that other side? And I think something that I seen on social media, and you guys might have seen it floating around, but a quote that I seen and it stuck with me, and I will always remember this quote, was, a woman's good looks are not going to raise your kids. Her mind is that's what's going to raise your kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when I read that, I thought to myself, man, like that's just one of the most powerful sayings I've ever heard in my life, because with this social media era that we're in, it's like you said, like we're just so caught up, and it's both ways. It's men. I noticed this. Women do it with looks and things like that, and men do it with money.
Okay.
That's kind of like how I've interpreted, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't want this to come off one-sided, like, oh, I'm trying to bash women or anything like that, because we live in a culture where everybody wants to cancel you. As soon as you say one thing I don't agree with, people want to just cancel you. Oh, you said, you're not about this. Oh, let's cancel him. Let's unsubscribe from him. Oh, you said this, you said something I don't agree with. Let's cancel. Let's unsubscribe. And I'm totally against this cancel culture that the world is kind of like pulling towards. So I don't want this to come off like I'm against women or whatever the case, but we got to talk about what we see with this specific person in relationship type of stuff. And
Marvin, before you go on, it was me that brought this up with you because of what I was seeing working with people, and also the questions I was getting via email and stuff. So I approached you and said, hey, from a man's point of view, what do you think about this? And this is how our conversation began.
I'm glad you brought that up, because you're 100% right. That is exactly how it started. Because again, I don't want to, being a man, and being a Black man, I don't want it to come off, like, some arrogant guy who thinks he, has women figured out, or he knows this and that. Like, I don't want it to come off that way at all. But it's I think it's something that we gotta seriously pay attention to, because I've been coaching people for, a little over a year now, maybe 14, 15 months. And just the things that I've seen, the comments that I've read, the questions I get asked as yourself as well. Um, I've literally had nothing but female clients over the past 14, 15 months since I started doing this stuff. And the
Okay.
one male client that I did have was a gay guy.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that those numbers say something.
Yes. Yes.
I think that those
Mm,
numbers speak volumes to me. And I know
mm,
you doing this for 6+ years, you can attest to it as well.
mm.
And I think this whole image persona thing around, social media and, it's like people don't want to be judged, but then you do things to allow yourself to be judged, or you say
Mm.
things to allow yourself to be judged. Like, for instance, you might hear people say, don't sexualize me,
Yeah.
but every time you we're about more than just sex. Don't sexualize me. Don't. But it's like every time you turn around, you have a picture with your ass out, or
Yeah.
you have a picture with, what I mean, your body part showing, and it's like,
Yeah.
you don't want me to sexualize you, but
Yeah.
yet you're doing this over here, or
Yes.
you don't want me to judge you, but you know, it's like, you have your nails and your eyelashes, and it's like men really don't care about that stuff.
Yes.
They Women, I guess, may assume that we do.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of like the crux of, what we're trying to discuss is like, men really don't care. We're not superficial the way you think we are. Like,
Mm.
I'll like your picture. Don't get me wrong. Like, if
Yes.
you post a nice picture, the dress is hugging your body, or it looks good on you. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, yeah, a guy will like your picture. You know what I
Yep.
mean? He'll comment on your picture,
Mm.
but understand, most likely he's not going to take you serious,
Mm.
because in a serious relationship, he's not going to try to date you. Yeah, he'll sleep with you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He'll sleep with you. He'll like your pictures and all that type of stuff, but I think he won't take you serious. And I think that's what I see a lot with, celebrity couples and, athletes and actors, when they date these women that, are really, they really care about their looks, but it never goes anywhere. Those relationships
Mm.
never work out.
Mm.
And, you know, I think that has a part to do with it, is because they don't realize, like, you have to bring more to the table than just your looks.
Mm.
It's not about just your body and how you, like, oh, I'm pretty, so I deserve the world just because I'm beautiful. Like, no, but
Mm.
is your soul beautiful?
Yeah.
Yeah, your outside is beautiful, but is your soul beautiful? And I think that, like I said, I think this is why a lot of relationships I see, celebrity relationships, don't work, is because these men see these women, post themselves with their hair done, their nails did, you know what I mean,
Mm.
their eyebrows done, you know what I mean, eyelashes like super duper long, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, can you even see? You know what I'm saying? And then they think like, oh, I'm pretty, so I'm going to be able to maintain a man. And
Uh,
it's like, no, like,
no.
this social media world has got stuff twisted.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know I've mentioned this before, but there was a guy in Australia called the Bondi Vet, and they used to do this show where, he would talk about animals and stuff. And then, they would talk about different things. And I will never forget it. On this one show, he said, whenever he goes to date a woman, he'll look at her social media. And if she's posted more than a couple of photos a month of herself, he will not date her. And I remember thinking, wow, that's good research, because
Absolutely.
it tells you a lot how many photos people are taking of themselves. And, I mean, I personally am with somebody that's never been on social media and doesn't have an interest in any of it. Um, and that's something that I find attractive
Yes.
in a
Very,
man, because he
very.
doesn't need attention. He likes to be private. He doesn't need to post things about himself, his family, about us. It's our relationship is our relationship. It doesn't need to be online. And that's, how I've always been too. It's there's public stuff like the YouTube channels we have, and there's private
Right.
stuff, who we hang out with and what we do. So I do think, and I am going to say this to the women, I think this is a bit of a wake up call. And if you are someone that right now is posting a lot of photos of yourself on social media, is taking this beauty thing to an obsession, and you got to look at why you do that. And I find, talking to women, working with them one-on-one, they do that stuff for men. So it's coming from a place of insecurity and trying to be a bright, shiny object that attracts a man through the packaging. But you and I talked about this. You said to me, and I'm probably not getting the words exactly right, but a good quality man that will never be enough for, because he will look for the woman that will raise the kids, the one that's got a mindset that can do all, it's not just about the boobs and the ass and,
Right.
the fact that I got this and that done, or, so I think it's good to get up, you have your shower, you fix up your hair, and you put, if you want to put a bit of lipstick on and you put on some clean clothes, that's enough now. I think get on with it. Like, you don't need to spend hours on this stuff. Yes, go and get your hair cut. Yeah, if you want to go and get your nails done too. But spending hours and hours and hours, people posting on social media that they just got their hair cut, they got their hair dyed, or that they got, this, like, honestly, this really borders on self-obsession. It's not, there's a fine line. That's not healthy to be overdoing that stuff so much, because you need to post stuff on social media to go and get attention from people and get reassurance. If you're doing that for reassurance, so you can get your little dopamine hit so that you feel good about yourself, that's something you might want to look at.
I like that dopamine hit. Yeah, get that little dopamine hit. I mean, listen, we're in the age where, people pay for likes. People
Do they?
Yeah, like people
I didn't know
literally
that.
people literally are paying money, on social media just to get likes, just to get comments.
No way. Because I'm off social media apart from YouTube since last year. I didn't know that.
And yes, listen, it's
Gee.
getting real. It's getting real out here. Like it's beyond real. Like the stuff that people are paying for just to, do this or do that or boost, like you said, get that dopamine hit. Like it's real. And I think what hurts, and I think what's sad is, especially with women, I feel like women, a lot of women's talents are overlooked.
Yeah.
Because they're putting so much emphasis on how they look instead of their intelligence, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
And I'm sure you could probably tell, like, I'm trying to be very careful with my words, because again, like, I feel like there's so many beautiful, smart women in this world. And I feel like there's so many women who can lead and do a better job than men can. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can be better CEOs, better chairmen, better CFOs. Like, they can do such a better, because a lot of men have egos. Like, we're just so ego driven and not spiritual, not intuitive. It's all about pride. And that's like the side, and we could probably make another video talking about that with the men. But with women, I feel like your talents are being overlooked a lot of times. And I don't even realize if they know that they're doing it, because they're so obsessed with, like you said, their hair being done. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I look in this dress? How do I? And I know personally, being a man, obviously, and being friends with majority of men, because I honestly don't have a lot of women friends.
Yep.
I know, a lot of men really don't care about that stuff. Like, and I know me personally, I'm not a huge fan of long nails and, you know what I mean, super long eyelashes and, that whole spill, and a lot of makeup, you know what I mean? If that's your thing, all good, you know what I mean? More power to you. But I know me, myself personally, and I know other men in my life that I'm around, you know what I mean? A lot of us, from what I've seen and from what I can remember, we really don't enjoy in particular, that type of look, when I guess women overdo it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of natural beauty. You know what I'm saying? I'm a huge fan of natural beauty, huge fan of, yo, listen, just throw on some sweatpants. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't gotta, just throw your hair up in a bun, you know what I'm saying? A messy bun, or whatever the case may be. Like, I love the natural look of a woman. And I know a lot of men like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I really want women to understand, like, don't let, and I seen another rapper, he posted this quote too. he was like, is a rapper named J. Cole. He said, don't let this social media era fool you into thinking that, you know, regular women aren't winning. He's
Yeah.
like regular women are winning. Like, don't get it twisted. Just because, you know, this chick, you know, has a regular job, or she, you know, she's not on Instagram, you know, with her ass out, or she's on Instagram with this and that out. Like, don't
Yeah.
think like those women are winning. A lot of times those women aren't winning. It seems like they're winning,
Yeah.
but emotionally, the baggage that they have and the image that they're trying to keep, and you know,
Yeah.
the mental stress that they're probably dealing with, like you really don't know. You know what I'm saying? And that's this whole social media era, is like so many people you think are winning, or they, oh, they're
Mm.
so beautiful, oh, they're so pretty, but you don't even know that they're really struggling with mental health. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You think they're
Yeah.
okay because they have 10,000 likes, or
I know.
whatever the case may be. So
I think if you are basing your self-worth on how many subscribers or likes or views you've had, you have got a serious issue within yourself to deal with,
mm,
because it's not about that at all. It
no,
really isn't. Like, you know, social media, you can walk away from it and you're still the same person. So if you walk away and you're really dependent on that stuff, who are you going to be when you walk away? And if you haven't got your own backbone to rely on, you know, self-esteem is not out there on social media. Self-esteem is
mm,
not about, you know, having your boobs done. And, you know, it's good to hear you talking about what men, I mean, you, like you say, you're surrounded by men, so you're having conversations about it. So, um, I remember you saying to me when we were doing the back and forth, and it really stayed with me. Yeah, I may like that photo on Instagram, but I'm not going to want to have a relationship with you because I can't really take you seriously if you've got your ass out. So it's really good to hear that clearly, and there will be women listening to this, and you know, it's time, I think, that women get a grip on this, because I will say, from what I do for work, this is so out of hand. Like, I get quite shocked at that when people talk about this stuff and they're serious about it. You know, I didn't get a like when I posted that thing. Are you kidding me? Like, I almost think they're kidding me. Like, it's a
right,
joke, but it's not. It's like, when did you get to the point where getting a like on a post that you put up to get attention in the first place? Get a look at yourself when you do that, because that is disturbing. It's a disturbing character trait. It's not normal. And I don't care how old you are, whether you're 16 all the way up through to 70, who cares? You know, it really doesn't matter what age group you're in. It's like, you got to shore up your self-worth. And I have seen two people I know recently that sent me stuff that they had been doing, you know, taking photos of themselves, getting dressed up, or getting their hair done, or all this stuff. And I just remember thinking, this is a program of foolishness. I'll be honest, this is what I thought.
right,
It really is. Like, I'm looking at my own women going, what are you doing? This is what you're spending your time on. Like, what the F are you doing?
right,
And these are two people that I know quite well.
right, 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 right.
And I said to one of them, because one of them is a friend of mine, and I said to her, you are working till 11 o'clock at night. You have so little time off. And this is what you spend your time on when you've got a little bit of time to yourself.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, I was like, probably a bit hard, but I just, you know,
Right.
sometimes I can't not say things because these are my friends. Like, what are you doing? So
Right.
it's not about not getting your hair done. It's not about not, but keep it on a low. Like, have some dignity. Self-respect is about keeping yourself groomed. But if they hear anything that we've said today, is what you said about men, and that men are quite happy with something that's very simple, very natural, and a woman who's comfortable in herself, that's not looking for reassurance. I can tell you, being with someone who's looking for reassurance about their looks is exhausting. And I tell you, I was with a man like that. He was always taking photos of himself.
Wow.
And I was like, what? Like, what are you doing? Constantly taking photos of himself. And this was when, social media was starting. And
Right.
I remember thinking, I'm not actually seeing this person in the same light anymore. This is actually not the kind of person I want to be with.
Right.
I really don't like this character trait in this relationship of mine.
Yeah.
So, it is something to really look at yourself about and go, is this something that I do? And why am I doing it? And why am I needing it? Because, we know the mental health issues, the anxiety levels have gone up through the roof, especially in younger people that never had issues before, the really young ones, because they're on social media. So, if you can start to tackle this beforehand by working on self-love and, taking a lot of photos of yourself and posting them on Instagram or putting videos up about yourself, doing all that, it's not self-love. Sorry, it's not. So, yeah. And you know what? My partner said to me a long time ago, and I will never forget it. He said, I've written it down so I don't screw it up. How a woman treats other women says a lot about her.
Ooh.
And I thought, wow, not how
I
a woman
felt that.
treats men, how a woman treats other women. And I would even say, especially when there's men around. Yeah, that's a good comment, isn't it? Yeah.
I felt that to my bones. Damn. Let's peel it all the way back.
Yeah, it's good. I'll read it one more time. How a woman treats other women says a lot about her.
Ooh. And
Yeah.
it's funny you bring that up, I guess, because like I've heard other women say that. Like I've heard so many women say, like, Marvin, you don't understand how really mean and nasty women are to each other.
Yeah.
Like they say things, and I remember a therapist, a woman therapist, she was a real estate agent. I forget how many years ago, but we were talking and she said to me, she was like, Marvin, you have no idea how competitive women are. She was like, women are way more competitive than you realize. She was like, women are way more competitive than even men. And she started breaking it down for me. And she's like, think about it. She's like, when women are girls, they say things like, oh, my hair is longer than such and such is, what I'm saying? And she's like breaking it down for me and giving me a perspective that I never even thought about because I'm in a man's world, basically, or a boy's world. You know what I mean? And so I'm not really looking at, the women's side, per se. And she starts breaking stuff. And now, mind you, this is a woman, just like you and me are having this conversation. I'm having this conversation with a woman. You know what I mean? So this holds weight. Hearing this from you or hearing this from the agent that I'm talking about, it's like, and that's when it first hit me back in like maybe 2014, 2013, like, wow, like women really are competitive. And then hearing you say what you just said reminded me, like I've heard other women in the past say, you have no idea how jealous women will get, or the way that we treat each other and the things that we talk about, each other behind their backs. You know what I mean? Like I've heard so much malicious stories, so many malicious things, talked about that. And you just saying that, my God.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I remember doing an interview. There was a couple of interviews I did with some, people sitting on a couch. We were both at the same location and it got videoed from the outside. We were both there. It wasn't on Zoom like you and I do. So I was interviewing this guy and I went and sat on the couch with him. And then my partner was there with another guy and they were videoing and, keeping an eye on everything. Now, the guy I'm interviewing, by standards in England, is a handsome guy, very fit. And his girlfriend comes in halfway through the interview. So she pokes her head into the living room, has a look around. And then I didn't take much notice because I was focused on the interview and talking to him. And after the interview, I got up And I felt something weird with the woman, the girlfriend that had come in. And I'm thinking, that's odd because my partner's here. You can see he's here. I'm with your partner. We're just talking, not doing anything.
Right.
But she looked at my shoes and she said, oh, you've got extremely small feet, haven't you? And I thought, it's an odd comment from someone you don't really know. But it was what was behind. It was loaded with, she's now checking me out, looking at what I'm doing, looking at my packaging. I had red lipstick on that day, sitting next to a partner with my red lipstick on, which, who cares? But obviously there was, I could feel the insecurity from her. I know that stuff so well because I used to be that woman. I can read it.
Wow.
And there were a few other comments made. And I remember leaving and I said to my partner, that was a little bit odd at the end there. And he goes, you just experienced how another woman treats, the thing that he said, because this was the day that he said it. How a woman treats another woman says a lot about her. And I thought what I felt that day was, I'm not the center of attention. You're talking to my partner. He's really engaged with you. And now I'm checking out your physical appearance. You've got really small feet. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. So,
right.
It was just one of those things, but the feeling of what was going on was very felt. And I thought, I know I can feel insecurity when it's around me. I can, because I'm reasonably calm these days, and I'm not. Look, I was very lucky. My mother never wore makeup. She was not interested in how you looked, really.
Right.
She never, she was interested in a veggie garden, cooking and making sure you ate properly. And I remember one day, this still makes me laugh. There was photos of my brother and I, like right near the front door on a bookcase. And I remember I was in my room because I was staying with my mom. I was like 48 or something at the time. Like I was well into adulthood. So this person comes in and I could hear her going, oh, look at your children. Aren't they lovely? Or aren't they beautiful or something? She made some comment. And I heard my mom go, oh yeah, they're all right. Anyway, I'm in the bedroom laughing. And then the woman picks up the cake or whatever I made for her and off she goes. And I said to Mum, I heard what you said.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, like, so what? Right. My mum's really matter of fact. Anyway, if anybody had heard that, they would have thought my mom doesn't care about us.
Right,
but
right.
What my mom, because I know my mom, what she was saying was, I couldn't care less how my children look, because that's not what's important.
Right.
And I think growing up with that, I don't find looks that important. You're born the way you are, from your heritage, from your ancestors, from your skin color, from your whatever. You are how you are. So, I wouldn't even consider cosmetic surgery, plastic surgery, or any of that, unless I had, in the case of people that have had an accident or all that stuff, totally understand you're rebuilding things and that's cool. But just for the average person, this is how it is. The hair's curly, you've got the freckles, you've got the big eyes, or you've got whatever you've got. So what? Like we're all different. That's what's great. But my mum saying that, honestly, it made me laugh for days, because if anybody had heard that, it'd be like, God, oh yeah, they're all right. Like she didn't love us, didn't care about us. I told my brother and he laughed his head off too. But it was like, I'm grateful that my mum was not into looks. She was more interested in if you were a good person. She was more interested in if you looked after yourself and you ate properly. She was more interested in if you actually were of service to the neighbor if they needed help. How you looked, why is that relevant? So coming from that, I'm grateful she gave me that, because to me, looks are not that important, as long as the basics are done and you have some self-respect, that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
And I think the inside, if you feel good about yourself, it doesn't matter how you look physically, you will look beautiful, you will look attractive, because that radiance of you will come through. So to the women, it's not about the looks, because I can tell you I've coached some models that are on the runway and they are so needy that they push men away. And I've coached some women that are technically overweight, not the right shape, not the right height, not the right whatever by society's standards,
Exactly.
and their self-love is good and their confidence is good, and they attract men in
Mm,
relationships because they feel good about themselves.
mm.
So it's not about the packaging.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was man, I was just zoned out. Like you're just so right. And I mean, I can attest to that because my mother was the same way. You know, she wasn't, you know, she didn't care about makeup. My mom's beautiful. She was just always naturally done, didn't wear a ton of makeup, didn't, you know, my
Yeah.
sisters was raised the same way.
Yeah.
And so I didn't come from that, you know what I mean? It was more so like you said, like who's the person? Are you, you
Yeah.
know, a good person? Do you say yes, ma'am? Do you say yes, sir? You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like those types of things is what was important, you
yeah.
know, growing up. And I just think that, you know, listening to what you had just said and just thinking about this, you know, social media era. And I remember
Mm,
you telling me you were at dinner or lunch or with a friend, one of your girlfriends, and you know, you were just like watching the women that were sitting near you just like fawning over themselves, you know, just like
mhm.
with the selfie and just like, you know, doing the whole hair thing
Yep.
and, you know, oh, look at my food. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? This is not like, this is not just a woman thing. This is a everybody thing. Cause that's like a
Yeah.
lot of this shit on social media. I really can't stand, you know,
Mm,
when people are like always taking pictures of their food and shit. And
yeah.
you know what I mean? Just, you know, always in the camera. It's just like,
Mm,
you don't got to film everything you do. Literally, like your life
no.
does not have to be documented. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so it's just funny, like, you know,
Mm,
hearing your examples and kind of like talking this through with you again, because I
yeah.
love having these conversations with you because you are a woman, and I can't stress enough, like, you know, just having these conversations with another woman, it's like it's powerful to me. So because like I
Yeah.
said, too many times, like when men say this kind of things, like we come off as being sexist or we
Yeah.
come off as, you know, trying to, you know, degrade women or, you
Mm,
know, say this and that. And it's like, no, that's not what we're trying to do at all. We're trying to
no.
communicate to you what we really want, but you're not listening because you think based on social media, you
Yeah.
gotta always, you know, take a selfie, or you always gotta have your body out, or you always, and like you said,
Yeah.
Anya, and that was one of the things that attracted me about my SP. The same
Mm,
thing with you and your SP is, you know, my SP, she had an Instagram, but she was never on there. She
yeah.
never posted pictures. You
Yeah.
know, she never was a big makeup wearer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? She like all of these things, like the boxes were being checked, and I'm like, oh, she's private just like me. You know,
Yep.
oh, she likes being by herself just like she doesn't like being around a bunch of people. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like these things to me is what, you know, makes, and a lot of people that I know, you know, a lot of men that I know, is what, you know, attracts them to women is
Yeah.
they're not out there like that. Like I said, yeah, I'll like your picture. You know what I'm saying? If I'm single, yeah, I may, you know, sleep with you. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? But don't think for 1 second I'm gonna put a ring on your finger.
Yeah.
Don't think that for one. And those women that do end up getting a ring on their finger, guess what? In a very short period of time, that ring gets taken off.
Mm,
Why? Because the man knows and he sees you don't really care about bringing anything to the table in this relationship other than your looks. You don't really
yeah.
care about being a great wife or, you know, a great mother, or you literally,
Mm,
and that's what I see with it. Like I said earlier, a lot of these relationships and couples and, you know, people being this way, it's like, yo, yeah, okay, you have a Chanel bag, you know, you have
yeah.
a Chanel bag, you have a Louis Vuitton bag, you know, but like, where's your mind at? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I think a lot of women don't realize, like, men look at that and you're giving off the perception, even if it's not your intent,
Yeah.
you're giving off the perception that's all you literally care about. You
Mm,
know, that's all you're about. And, you know,
mm,
oh, I can have any man I want because
mm,
of my looks. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Or you're giving off of that vibe. And so, like I said, when the relationship doesn't work out, you always got to look at yourself and ask yourself, what did you do wrong? Because
Mm,
a lot of times it was that type of energy,
yeah.
you know, that you put out and that you did wrong. And it's a lot of
Mm,
people don't want to hear this,
yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
like I feel like it has to be talked about. And I'm glad I can talk
Yeah.
about it with you because
Yep.
like I said, I'm with another guy.
Yeah.
I'm probably getting bashed. Oh, he hates women. He doesn't like, he's not about, especially in the era that we're in, like we're in a really, powerful,
Mm.
era of women and,
Mm.
feminist movements and which is
Yeah.
great. It's a great thing. You know what I mean? I'm not denying that at all. Like I'm very
Yeah.
happy that women are standing in solitude and, you
Yep.
know, starting to do all of that stuff. And, I wish them nothing but success. But at the same time, every coin has two sides,
Yeah.
and it's like, you got to push yourself forward by looking at what you're also doing wrong. And I think a lot of these things, and again, men too,
Yeah.
like I said, we can
Both.
get into
Yep.
this in another, YouTube or whatever,
Mm.
no different than men. But for today's topic, we're just strictly talking about, women, because especially you've been dealing with this for so many years.
Yeah.
And me, I've been coaching for 14, 15 months now, and I'm seeing it,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, there's a pattern here that we gotta, talk about.
Yeah. For sure. And if you get into a relationship and you've been a over social media photograph taker, how do you think that's going to be for the person you're in relationship with if you continue to do that to try and get attention from other people, especially other men?
Yes.
If you want a meaningful relationship, you can't be doing that. I mean, a man or a woman who wants a meaningful relationship needs to look at those behaviors. So if you want a good relationship, I think you got to stop doing that if you're doing it at all. And if you want to have a relationship that lasts, you don't engage in those sorts of things.
Mm.
The only exception would be is if you're both doing it.
Right.
That's an exception, but
Which I don't know how long those last, because
yeah, because
I
you'd be
never see those types of, I don't know, like
no,
I feel like the people that have the best relationships are the ones who don't post shit,
exactly,
or they
because they're
post
living it
very
and
little.
enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to think that when I used to be on social media for an hour a week or whatever, and I mean, my usage decreased quite consistently.
Mm.
I mean, in the beginning when you first got on there and you thought it was exciting, you could see your friends from school and blah blah blah. It was exciting, but
Right. Right.
as the years went by, you got to see so many things differently. Your friends, certain friends that you would talk to, you'd see how they are on social media.
Yeah.
And I'd be thinking, God, these are the people I know, and they're doing this, and I started to change my opinion of even some people that I was quite close to, because I thought, what are they engaging in this program of foolishness for? Like this is like being, if you're 12, fine,
Right.
but
Right. Right.
like as an adult, what are you doing? And I thought, oh, I need to get off here because I don't want to look at my friends doing that. I don't want to look at certain people and it changes my opinion of them. I'm getting out of here. So, and then I saw Social Dilemma and The Great Hack, and then that just sealed the deal for me in the end. In saying that, if you've got a business, you need to be on one thing, and it needs to be something that obviously benefits your business,
Right.
but you can cut off a lot of the dead wood, for your personal life, because it's not necessary, really. Um, and if it's giving you anxiety and depression and you're comparing yourself to people and all of that, then you need to look at whether being on social media is a good idea for you. If it doesn't do that to you, then, each to their own. But yeah, so I want to talk about one more thing, and it's the affirmations.
Nice.
Now, you and I talked about this before we started recording. Now,
Nice.
it would be 6 years ago, I started YouTubing, and I had a list of affirmations that I thought were good and recommended. I'm going to give you the new revised list today. And why is it revised? Because Marvin and I talked about this one by one today, and certain affirmations are extremely dependent. I can see today, 6 years on, because Marvin and I have evolved. Like the rest of you, we've actually evolved and changed certain things about ourselves and how we view things and how we look at things, about law of attraction, law of assumption, law of projection. And I wanted to talk about this today because I have deleted a lot of the affirmations I would have recommended before. Why? Because they are dependent on somebody else giving something to you. And today, I don't think that's a good way to go. I think it's much better to do affirmations that work from the inside out, and that it actually gives the people around you something rather than they need to do something for you. So I'm going to say what they are, And then Marvin, you jump in at any time if you want to say something, okay? So, I am love, great affirmation, not dependent on anybody. I think that's a great one. The one I would not do anymore, I am wanted, because that implies that somebody else is wanting you. So I would not recommend that one anymore. Absolutely. I am secure, love that one, because it's coming from the inside out. I am good enough just for myself, that I'm good at, I can do my study, or I can be good enough at running, or I can be good enough. That can be an affirmation that's just for you. Now, these are the ones I would let go of now. I'm a priority, because that implies to somebody else. Things like I'm cherished, I'm chosen. You know, it's like you're at school standing there waiting for someone to pick you for the soccer team, you know, and you get picked one at a time, and you're standing there, oh God, am I going to be chosen? You know, all right, you know, so those affirmations where it's like you're dependent on someone doing something for you, I think today, I will say, very weak signal in terms of affirming. Now, if you're brand new to this, you want to start there. A lot of us started with these affirmations, no problem, but you will get to a point where you will start to feel and see which affirmations feel good and which don't. Also, I'm important. Again, I think still implies with somebody else. I matter. That one, I think, could swing both ways. What do you think, Marvin?
Yeah, I think definitely I could see it swinging either way.
Yeah. So I matter for myself, that I'm here, or I matter to that person.
Absolutely.
So that one's kind of sitting in the middle still. So yeah, the ones like I am loved, I am lovable, I would get rid of those now, because it's still implying that someone else, you're loved or you're lovable to someone else. So
right.
I have culled my affirmations right down to I am love, I am good enough, I'm secure, I matter. So it's cut the list to less than half now. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, there's a lot of things you and I feel like 99.9% of the stuff that we're always on the same page about. And I agree. And the funny thing is, because I was telling you before we hopped on, like I was getting all my stuff from you, you know what I'm saying? So, like I was literally telling people those same affirmations, like,
yeah,
you know, I am a priority, you know, I matter, you know, I'm important, I'm irreplaceable.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But like you said, as we evolve, you start to think to yourself like, man, like, you know, some of those affirmations are, like you said, they rely on other people's, you know, approval of you, or, you know, maybe some of them come off, you know, more arrogant than we realize, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe we want to use it in an arrogant way, or, you know what I mean? I mean, there's a myriad of, you know, different things, you know, how people could parse words together and say, oh, well, this sounds like you mean this, or this sounds like you mean that, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
I think, like what you said, I think it mainly is coming from a place of trying to get. And
it is still.
I think and I think the mistake that a lot of people are making with their affirmations, I think most people are, and they don't realize they're doing it, or maybe they do realize, they just don't give a damn. Is they're literally only doing law of attraction work, not to heal, not to really become a better person, not to do it for all of the right reasons. Like you're literally only doing affirmations because you want to manifest a specific person back. I mean, let's be clear. Let's be real about this. You know what I mean? Most of the people watching this are adults. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of you guys that are watching, you know, law of attraction videos, you're not really trying to heal. You're not really like, and this is like, yes, you would have damn near 500,000 subscribers, you know, 1 million subscribers if you were like these other YouTubers, you know what I'm saying, posting, you know, just stuff that people want to hear. You know what I mean? But you're keeping it real to the core, just like myself. And you realize like, and this is what's going to allow us to track our flocks to us, you know what I mean, and get rid of the flock that we don't want, is because, like I said, a lot of you guys, you're saying and doing affirmations because you're still trying to get. And if you're doing affirmations because you're still trying to get, you guys are missing the boat. Like you literally missed the Titanic. Like literally, you've missed the cruise ship, because the reason for doing affirmations, the reason for, you know, doing meditations, like you shouldn't be doing any of this to get a specific person back. And that's the biggest lesson I got. you shouldn't be telling yourself, I am loved, I am lovable, I'm cherished. You shouldn't be saying any of that type of stuff to get a specific person back. Like,
Mm.
you guys are missing the boat. You should be saying that stuff, any affirmation, because you're trying to get your self-esteem right. You're
Mhm.
trying to get your self-love right. You're trying to work on your self-concept. Like you
Yeah.
said, I matter can swing either way. You're trying to tell yourself
Mm.
you matter because, for so many years you didn't feel like you mattered. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or your parents told you you didn't matter.
Yeah.
Or, a past relationship partner told you you didn't matter.
Yeah.
So now, like, I get those kinds of things, but do it for the right way. Don't do
Mm.
your affirmations for the wrong reasons, or don't do your affirmations or visualizations, or don't do scripting,
Yeah.
don't do any of that type of stuff solely for the purpose of trying to manifest the SP. If you do that, like I said, you are missing the boat.
Yeah. The boat, the Titanic, and the cruise liner. I love how you said those three. I mean,
You're missing it.
that's why I was giggling because the boat
Yeah.
just got bigger and bigger.
Listen, it's a big boat, Anya. It's a big boat, but a lot of people are on the wrong boat. Like, I
Mm.
feel like we're on the yacht that only has a select few on it. And it's a mega yacht too, one of the best yachts in the world. But there's a reason that a yacht is the way it is with only a few people on it. And there's a reason that a cruise ship is the way it is with hundreds of people on it. I want you to think
Yeah.
about that. It's a
Yeah.
reason. It's a thought process. The people with Agnes's thought process and my thought process, we're on the private, 300-foot yacht with a select hand few of people. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But everybody else in the world, they're on the cruise ship with 300,
Yeah.
400, 500, 600, 700,000 people going nowhere, going
Yeah.
nowhere.
I have to tell them that what you said to me the other day when we were
Sure,
talking
sure.
about having a circle, and I said, I said to Marvin, I've got my circle's pretty small. I've got, I don't see a lot of people, especially when I'm in London. And Marvin audios me back on WhatsApp and he goes, Agnes, my circle's so small, it's not even a circle, it's a dot.
That's God's my witness. It literally is a dot. Just
Oh,
beep,
yeah,
just a
doop.
little less.
A little dot, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't hang out with a lot of people. We spend a lot of time just on our
Mm-mm.
own and working on stuff. So this is the stuff we
Absolutely.
think about.
That's too funny.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so there we go. So that's it. I think you want to add anything before we wrap it up? Anything else come to
um,
mind?
no, I just think, man, if you got anything from this interview or podcast, whatever you want to call it, if you got anything, it's I hope you do things for the right reasons. Do things because you really love yourself. Stop lying to yourself and saying, "Oh, I'm posting this because it's self-love, because I love myself." Because no, you're not doing it because you love yourself. Because if you really
Yeah,
did love yourself, you don't need to post a picture for the world to see and for the world to like it. And
yeah,
so don't lie to yourself about why you're posting pictures or why you're doing this or why you're doing. Get real, get honest with yourself, honest self-evaluations,
mm,
and just stop overdoing it.
yeah,
It's simplicity always wins in life. It
yeah,
wins in nature.
yeah,
Animals have it figured out. You know
mm,
what I mean? The four seasons have it figured out wherever you may be in the world. Like,
mm,
nature has it figured out. Animals have it figured out. Why can't humans,
yeah,
just understand simplicity will always win and has always won.
mm,
So I think that's
nice.
what I want to leave, everybody with.
Yeah,
Confidence is loud. I mean, confidence is quiet. Insecurities are
yeah,
loud.
yeah, nice. And for the women that are watching in the next weeks, months, year, watch how you treat other women
Mm, I still can't
be-
get over that.
because it says a lot about you. Yeah, this is a big, big thing.
That's so
So
powerful.
I know it's good, isn't it? I know. I was
Mm,
when he said that the first time, I was like, bang! It just hit me like, God, I've never thought about that.
yeah, me
But
neither.
you see it in all different ways.
Mm,
Those things. So it's like I've always noticed it, but never gave it a conversation. So
mm.
it was good. It was a good statement. So Yeah. Well, everyone, that's our little bag of nuts for today. Chew on
Organic.
the chew on the ones you like and spit out the ones you don't.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna get bashed. Like, oh, I used to like Marvin, now I can't stand him. I'm unsubscribing from his
Oh,
channel.
yeah. Ah, well, say la vie, as they say.
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
the, the hardcore organic certified nuts will still be around.
Absolutely.
Well, Marvin, you want to say bye? I'll say bye, and then we'll say bye behind the scenes.
Always a pleasure to connect with Agnes on YouTube. Always great conversation.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for tuning in.
Mm,
Hopefully you guys will understand the message that I was trying to convey, as well as Agnes, and not take it personally.
yeah.
But it's something that we had to say, something that, we
Yeah.
wanted to, because I know a lot of YouTubers don't talk about this kind of stuff,
No.
and they won't talk about this kind of stuff. But as you guys know, with Agnes and myself, you get nothing but real, raw, organic nuts. So thank you guys for joining us. Agnes, thank you for having me as always.
Lovely. Ah, great conversation. And I do think doing it with two of us, it just moves, because you're not just doing a YouTube on your own and discussing it with just yourself. So
Right.
that's why I wanted to do it with you, because I know when you said that about what men really like, I thought, wow, this is something
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever heard, because of men looking at social media. I never really thought about
Right.
what do men look at, what do they think when they look at women on social media. Never had that thought either. So
Right.
yeah, it's good information, good information. Thanks everybody for joining us. I will put down below, and Marvin will too, because this will go up on both channels, and you will get all the info in the description. Lots of love, and see you as always in the same place.